Hare Krishna devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All Krishna Prabhupada. Welcome devotees to today's class. I have to admit, Maharaj, I was not given a verse. Somehow, when I
Yeah,
asked, nobody knew the verse. So, Maharaj, that's why I have the screen up. If you can please guide me, Maharaj.
yeah, it's the next verse, number 37 in the second chapter of the ninth
Okay,
chapter, 37,
2 9
37.
37. Thank you, Maharaj.
Yeah,
I apologize, Maharaj.
we finished yesterday the chapter Sloki. Mm.
Okay. Yes, Marge. So today we'll be discussing from chapter 9, and we are continuing answers between Lord Brahma and the Lord. And we're happy to have His Holiness Candramauli Swami with us. Hare Krishna Maharaj. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to you and Shiv Prabhupada. And thank you so much, Marge, for guiding me on this verse.
Okay, now after scrutinizingly looking at the verse and purport, I can see that this purport is also quite lengthy. To do it in one class is possible, but it may kind of crowd the information into a smaller time period. So I may break it up into two classes.
That's fine, Marge. I will let the devotee team know about that.
Okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Etam matam samatishta paramena samadhina. Bhavan kalpa vikalpesu na vimugyanti karhijat. Now, after speaking these verses, which are the essence of the Bhagavatam, the Lord gives some final statement to Brahma. O Brahma, just follow this conclusion by fixed concentration of the mind, and no pride will disturb you, neither in the partial nor in the final devastation. Purport. As in the Bhagavad Gita, 10th chapter, the personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna has summarized the whole text in 4 verses. So, namely, Aham Sarvasya Prabhavo, etc. So, the complete Srimad Bhagavatam has also been summarized in 4 verses as Aham Esavam Evagre, etc. So, here's a comparison between the nutshell verses and these nutshell verses in the Bhagavatam and in the Gita. And so there was all of the information, the whole text is summarized in 10:8 in Bhagavad Gita, and in this previous verse we just finished, which was the fourth of the Chatur Sloki verses. Thus, the secret purpose of the most important Bhagavate in conclusion has been explained by the original speaker of Srimad Bhagavatam, who was also the original speaker of the Bhagavad Gita, the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna himself. So, Bhagavatam mostly is about Krishna, but you find verses spoken by Krishna in the Bhagavatam. And here, this is indicated where, in order to make a complete clarification on the essence of the knowledge without any deviations or speculations by other interpreters, Krishna has summarized the whole thing in these 4 verses. Prabhupada goes on to say there are many grammarians and non-devotee material wranglers. Prabhupada uses very interesting language here to describe people who are not qualified. They may be good at grammar, and they may be good at pulling things from different places to present their ideas. But what is it? They present false interpretations of these verses of the Srimad Bhagavatam. But the Lord himself advised Brahmaji not to be deviated from the fixed conclusion of the Lord had taught him. The Lord was the teacher of the Srimad Bhagavatam in 4 verses, and Brahma was the receiver of knowledge. So you can't get any better combination of guru and disciple. The supreme source of knowledge is explaining that knowledge to the most qualified person, who is the head of Sampradaya, Lord Brahma himself, the perfect guru, the perfect disciple. Misinterpretation of the word aham, I am, by the word jugglery of the impersonal.
Did we lose Maharaj?
Looks like Mataji.
Yeah. Hmm. We'll have to wait for Maharaj to come back. Must be a connection issue. If devotees can just hang in there and be a little patient, I'm sure we'll get Maharaj back. He'll come back. He always does.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj. You were starting on this sentence here, misinterpretation of the word aham.
Yeah, it looks like I got an unstable.
Yes, Maharaj.
I don't know if this is going to happen continuously. It's going to be quite difficult to get through this. But anyway, we'll try.
All right, Maharaj.
Where did I leave off? Misinterpretation?
Yes, Maharaj, of the word aham. Yes.
By the word jugglery of the impersonalist should not this. My voice is kind of like falling apart. Can you read?
Yes, Maharaj, I can read, sure. Misinterpretation of the word aham by the word jugglery of the impersonalist should not disturb the mind of the strict followers of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Shall I continue, Maharaj?
Yeah, I'll stop you when I decide to say
Okay,
something.
okay, Maharaj. Srimad Bhagavatam is the text of the personality of Godhead and his unalloyed devotees who are also known as the Bhagavats, and any outsider should have no access to this confidential literature of devotional service.
So what does it mean to be an outsider? It means that one who is not engaged in devotional service. Bhakti Siddhanta would say that sometimes people want to understand things that they're not qualified to understand because they have no access to the knowledge, and that from their perspective of observation, they formulate certain ideas but have no real understanding of what they're saying. It's their limited knowledge. Their knowledge is limited, and it's based on empirical speculation. So he called it licking the outside of a honey bottle. If you want the honey, you have to open the bottle. So if you want to know this knowledge and have access to this knowledge, you have to be engaged in devotional service. Continue.
Yes, Marge. But
But
unfortunately, the impersonalist who has no relation to the Supreme Personality of Godhead sometimes tries to interpret Srimad Bhagavatam by his poor fund of knowledge in grammar and dry speculation. Therefore, the Lord warns Brahma, and through Brahma, all future devotees of the Lord and the disciplic succession of Brahma, that one should never be misled by the conclusion of the so called grammarians or by other men with a poor fund of knowledge, but must always fix the mind properly via the parampara system.
so the
No
parampara system is the way to understand things beyond the range of the senses. So we accept knowledge coming down from higher authority. And the source of that knowledge is the speaker of these verses, and that is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Brahma, the Lord is speaking to Brahma. Brahma spoke to Narada. Narada gave that knowledge to Vyas, and Vyas wrote it down in the form of Srimad Bhagavatam. So within that parampara system, therefore, you can see those personalities who are concluded in that line are all qualified because they're all fully engaged in devotional service.
No one should try to give a new interpretation by dint of mundane knowledge. And the first step, therefore, in pursuance of the system of knowledge received by Brahma is to approach a bona fide guru who is a representative of the Lord following the Parampara system.
Well, here's another important point. Let's go back. No one should try to give an interpretation by dint of mundane knowledge. Prabhupada uses the word grammarians. What does that mean? Those who know literary structure and interpret everything in what is they called a very formalized way. It's called a lexicographer who gives the dictionary definition of everything, but doesn't know the context by which the knowledge is being given. And therefore, they understand things just by literary, what we say, expertise. But that cannot enter into the nature of transcendental knowledge. So here's how we get transcendental knowledge.
No one should try to squeeze out his own meaning by imperfect mundane knowledge. The guru or the bona fide spiritual master is competent to teach the disciple in the right path with reference to the context of all authentic Vedic literature.
Yeah, so the guru not only speaks, but he makes reference to bona fide transcendental literature, which has been established as eternal knowledge, or knowledge coming from the Supreme Lord Himself, or that knowledge coming from the system of parampara, which are also coming ultimately from the same source, the Supreme Lord Himself. So therefore, one has to, although one may be a guru, he substantiates his knowledge by reference to the Supreme Lord's statements and by Vedic literature itself.
He does not attempt to juggle words to bewilder the student. The bona fide spiritual master, by his own personal activities, teaches the disciple the principles of devotional service.
Yeah, he doesn't try to bewilder by making very nice, very what we say, literary embellishments of very flowery words, but ultimately he doesn't really know the essence. And therefore, he constructs a very nice presentation of the knowledge, and people accept it because of its literary expertise rather than what is actually being communicated. Okay.
Without personal service, one would go on speculating like the impersonalist and dry speculators life after life and would be unable to reach the final conclusion. By following the instructions of the bona fide spiritual master, in conjunction with the principles of revealed scriptures, the student will rise to the plane of complete knowledge, which will be exhibited by development of detachment from the world of sense gratification.
So the indication that one has understood the knowledge is that one develops detachment from the world of sense gratification. In other words, one that becomes attached to the realm of spirit or devotional service and the activities that make up devotional service, and they detach themselves from everything material or everything ephemeral. And if that is not there, that means they don't really have understood the knowledge. Because if knowledge doesn't lead to detachment, then that knowledge is either not understood properly or it is called faulty knowledge, either one.
The mundane rank.
Yeah, the detachment part is very important to understand. Yeah. Okay.
The mundane wranglers are surprised that one can detach himself from the world of sense gratification, and thus any attempt to be fixed in God realization appears to them to be mysticism.
Yeah.
I know, it's such a wonderful way how Prabhupada puts it, Maharaj. This detachment from the sensory world is called the Brahma Buddha stage of realization, the preliminary stage of transcendental devotional life, para bhakti.
Yeah. Para means transcendental. That bhakti, which is above material, that activity which is above the three modes of material nature.
The Brahmabhuta stage of life is also known as the Atmarama stage, in which one is fully satisfied and does not hanker for the world of sense enjoyment. In the stage of full satisfaction, this stage of full satisfaction is the proper situation for understanding the transcendental knowledge of the personality of Godhead. In Srimad Bhagavatam 1-20 affirms this. Evam prasana manaso bhagavad bhakti yogata bhagavad tattva vigyanam mukta sangasya jayate. Thus, in the completely satisfied stage of life, exhibited by full detachment from the world of sense enjoyment as a result of performing devotional service, one can understand the science of God in the liberated stage.
Yeah,
In
so
this
here's the qualification for understanding. The detachment and engagement in devotional service.
detachment and engagement. Okay. In this state,
Yeah, detachment must lead us to devotional service. Detachment, for the sake of detachment, is uh, a false sense of renunciation, because one cannot be completely detached. One has to attach themselves to something. And if they don't attach themselves to something spiritual or the activities of devotional service, their material attachment is just external. They're not really detached. Because they still have to function. And if they're not functioning in the spiritual realm, then automatically they'll be functioning in the material realm. And therefore their detachment is just falguni. It's just some false sense of detachment.
Because
Okay.
because Brahma, I'm sorry, in the stage of full satisfaction and detachment from the sensory world, one can know the mystery of the science of God with all its confidential intricacies, and not by grammar or academic speculation. Because Brahma,
The problem keeps going back to that point. Not by grammar or academic speculation. Even if you have so much material qualifications in the literary field, you've studied so many books, you have so much understanding of philosophy, still, you cannot enter into the mysteries of the science of God and the intricacies that are included simply by that qualification.
Because Brahma qualified himself for such reception, the Lord was pleased to disclose the purpose of Srimad Bhagavatam. This direct instruction by the Lord to any devotee who is detached from the world of sense gratification is possible, as stated in Bhagavad Gita 10:10. Tesam satata yuktanam bhajatam pritipurvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mamupayanti te. Unto the devotees who are constantly engaged in the Lord's transcendental loving service, Priti Purvakam, the Lord, out of his causeless mercy upon the devotee, gives direct instructions so that the devotee may make accurate progress on the path returning home back to Godhead. One
Here's
should
this,
not
here's the success, that one who's engaging with devotional service, with the one who engaged in transcendental loving service, the Lord directly, either within this heart or through the spiritual master, will guide that person to make progress back home, back to God. And he will not be deviated on the path because of the qualification of loving devotional service.
One should not, therefore, try to understand these 4 verses of Srimad Bhagavatam by mental speculation, rather, by direct perception of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One is able to know all about his abode, Vaikuntha, as was seen and experienced by Brahmaji. Such Vaikuntha realization is possible by any devotee of the Lord situated in the transcendental position as a result of devotional service.
So anyone can develop these characteristics and qualities and become qualified to understand the highest principles of devotional service if they follow this process, as was given by the Lord to Lord Brahma.
In the Gopala Tapani Upanishad Shruti, it is said, Gopa Veshame Purusha Purasta Avirbha Bhuva. The Lord appeared before Brahma as a cowboy. That is as the original personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna, Govinda, who is later described by Brahmaji in the Brahma Samhita 529.
So,
Chintamani
so now Brahma is really, after he saw Krishna or understood that that same cowherd boy is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he composed many of these verses in the Brahma Samhita. Chintamani prakata sadmashu kalpa vriksham laksa vitesha sudabir avipaliyantam Lakshmi sarasya satasam brahma sevyamanam govindam purusham tamaham bhajami. Yeah, so that's a powerful expression of devotion. Okay.
Brahmaji desires to worship the original personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna, who resides in the topmost Vaikuntha planet known as Goloka Vrindavan, where he is in the habit of keeping Surabhi cows as a cowboy, and where he is served by hundreds and thousands of goddesses of fortune, the gopis, with love and respect.
So this is
Therefore,
very hard for this is far hard for anyone, even the greatest philosopher, to acknowledge that the supreme personality of Godhead is a cowherd boy who has girlfriends, who has activities that ordinary people also have, and this appears to be some kind of what we say mythology, or what is the word that describes that? Some can't think of the particular word that they bring the Lord down to the human level, and therefore they see what the Lord is actually described as being some kind of just some imagination, some mythology, somebody's creative creation of the mind. But because they
if
can't enter into the process of bhakti, they're subject to their own mental speculation.
Therefore, Lord Sri Krishna is the original form of the Supreme Lord, Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. This is also clear from this instruction. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is Lord Krishna, and not directly Narayan or the Purusha avatars, which are subsequent manifestations. Therefore,
So
Srimad Bhagavat.
his form, that his is the original form. He is a cowherd boy in the spiritual world in Goloka Vrindavan, the original form of the Lord. The Lord has many forms as described here. Narayan and many of the avatars are the manifestations of the avatars. But ultimately, these are all expansions of the original form, who is Krishna Govinda, who plays on his flute and herds cows.
The Supreme
Pretty
Lord
hard
is
for
cool.
people say, well, this is some kind of some kind of nice story, but it has no meaning. That's because they don't engage in devotional service. Therefore, the devotees know that yes, if God is a cowherd boy, because he is God, he can be whatever he wants to be. But therefore, he is a cowherd boy, and that is the original form of Krishna, not an expansion of the Lord, but the original form.
Therefore, Srimad Bhagavatam means consciousness of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna. And Srimad Bhagavatam is the sound representation of the Lord as much as the Bhagavad Gita is. Thus, the conclusion is that Srimad Bhagavatam is the science of the Lord in which the Lord and his abode are perfectly realized.
Yes, yeah. Even though Bhagavatam is most of the verses are not spoken by Krishna, still it's the sound representation of the Lord, because the Lord speaks many of the essential principles that make up the foundation to understand what is the reality of spiritual existence. And these four verses were spoken by Krishna himself to Brahma. Okay, so maybe we
Yes,
can open it up for some discussion.
discussions. Okay, Marge, thank you. I will stop sharing and I would request devotees to please turn on your videos wherever possible. And there's already a question, Maharaj. Then I will go with this question in chat and I'll come to Abhishek. Hare Krishna, Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. From the purport, there is a connection between the Gyan, study of scriptures, and devotional service, and we need to try to apply the knowledge by practical service/work to advance to detachment from the material world. Is this correct? And this means devotional service has to be constantly self-reflective process.
Yes, but it can't be done by philosophical or mental speculation. Has to be given understanding by the explanations given by the spiritual master, who is the representative of God and is situated in transcendental knowledge. So without the guidance in a philosophical way, one will definitely, in your reflective state of understanding, you may reflect on the wrong understanding. So yeah, but detachment is one of the features by which leads to bhakti. Because without detachment, then there is attachment to the material. And therefore, one cannot understand this knowledge as long as one is still attached to trying to fulfill their material desires.
Hope that helped your question, Sonal. Thank you for asking. Abhishek, please, you can go with your question, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. While my question is from Srimad Bhagavatam, I was reading. So while I was reading the chapter Lord Krishna's entrance into Dwarka, so on the third verse, Srila Prabhupada says that some fictitious Bengali writers conclude that the Krishna of Vrindavan and that of Dwarka and that of Mathura were different personalities. But historically, there is no truth in this conclusion. But sometimes we hear in lectures that some say that the Krishna of Vrindavan never leaves Vrindavan, and that Krishna of Mathura and Dwarka were all different persons. So how can we understand this knowledge?
Well, those who speak like that have no knowledge, because Krishna can manifest himself in different forms of himself to carry out his particular pastimes. But it's the same Krishna. And actually, he didn't change his form. He will only changes his mood. His mood was changed when he left Vrindavan and went to Dwarka to satisfy the devotees in Dwarka in the mood of Aishwarya Bhav. But even though he was in the mode of Aishwarya Bhav, it still was the same Krishna of Vrindavan. And if you read the Bhagavatam, that is clearly explained in the 10th canto, in many of the later chapters, which describes the activities of Krishna in Dwarka. And you'll see, even while Krishna was in Dwarka, even the gopis of Vrindavan came to see Krishna. And so why would they come to see a different Krishna? It's the same Krishna. But they saw Krishna in a different mood. So that was a little difficult for them to accept Krishna in that different mood. So when they met Krishna at Kurukshetra, Radharani asked Krishna again to return to Vrindavan. Only then could she be fully satisfied in her loving relationship with Krishna. So it's the same Krishna, but he was in a different mood when he went to Kurukshetra, and later on when he went to Dwarka. So he was a king in Dwarka. He was a soldier in Kurukshetra, and when in Vrindavan, he was the sweet cowherd boy, the cynosure of everyone's love. So yeah,
Maharaj,
it's the same
but
Krishna. There's not two different Krishnas. These are people who have no knowledge. I mean, that's very clearly understood simply by reading Krishna's pastimes. One doesn't even need any commentary on that, and you can see it simply by reading the pastimes. Same Krishna.
but
Krishna,
has
yeah, Krishna's one, but he can manifest himself in different moods of himself. Just like even you can do that. You can be on the beach playing with your children and going swimming, but you can be in the office and meeting with other executives, and and discussing important parts of your different corporations. Or you can be out, riding on your bicycle. So you have different moods also. We also have different moods, and we also change our dress sometimes in order to exhibit a certain type of activity. But you're the same person. When you go to sleep at night, you put on your sleep clothes. So it says that a dog can recognize his master by no matter what form the master takes. The dog always knows its master, whether he appears in his pajamas or his bathing suit or his suit and tie. The dog knows the master. So those who see Krishna changing his different moods and different dresses, they're less than the dog. Because even a dog can figure that one out.
Maharaj, I have a follow-up question that some devotees means in our movement also say that Krishna of Vrindavan never leaves Vrindavan. He is in invisible form like that. They say.
Yeah,
So,
he leaves and he doesn't leave Vrindavan, but he leaves and he enters into the hearts of his devotees. So he's always in the hearts of his devotees, but at the same time, that's what it means. He never leaves Vrindavan. He stays within the hearts of his devotees. But Krishna he left Vrindavan to go to Mathura, to go to Dwarka. But he was still present in the loving mood within the hearts of his devotees. And that is called Vipralamba Seva, worshiping Krishna in the mood of separation. They're loving Krishna within their heart, but the Lord is not personally present in that form. So when you say he doesn't leave, they don't know what that means. It means he never leaves the hearts of his pure devotees who are situated in Vrindavan. Yeah, that's easy. The Acharyas explain that also. Radharani is feeling the presence of Krishna by longing for Krishna's personal presence. But she's not separated from him because she's worshiping him in the mood of separation. So the mood of separation is so intense that even though one is not personally present, one is feeling the presence of that person through the mood of love. Sometimes we can even come to that stage in our ordinary activities, but not completely. Because Krishna can enter the hearts of all living entities and be there in a mood of separation. That's called Vipralamba Bhav. So if you're talking, he never leaves, he does leave, but at the same time, he's still personally present. You can't do that because you're not God. Nor can the materialists rationalize that because they see everything in the same mundane way that they experience life. How can someone be in two places at the same time? But even yogis can be in two places at the same time. What to speak about Krishna? But
Hope that helped. I'm sorry, March.
yeah, but the manifestation of Krishna is different. But he's in two places he's in many places at the same time. But he never leaves Vrindavan. Even when he comes to this material world, he never leaves the spiritual world at the same time. It's not that he's absent when he goes to the material world to perform his pastimes. He's gone from the spiritual world. No, he's still personally present in his full form as Krishna in the spiritual world. But he expands himself within himself in order to appear in different places to enact his pastimes. if you put limitations on Krishna or you put material definitions on Krishna, how will you able to understand the nature of transcendence, which is beyond the material?
Hope that
Krishna,
helped,
Oh,
Abhishek.
Krishna is God. He's not like us. God means one who can do anything and everything.
okay, so Maharaj, I have another question. So, should I ask or should I wait? Or
Abhishek, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, you
Abhishek
can
Prabhu,
ask.
can I take Vrishab and Shivaku and then I'll come back to you? Just to give the other two
okay,
a chance. Yeah, just I hope you won't forget your question. Just write it down. I just want to give the other two, but I promise I'll come back to you. Okay. Rishabha Prabhu, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, dear Guru Maharaj, dear Vaishnavas, please accept my humble best of worship of Prabhupada. Am I audible?
Hmm. You're you're definitely not very clear, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, am I audible? Do you
Yes,
hear
now
me?
you are. Now you are. If I think if you talk slow, we can probably
Yes.
pick up the words.
Oh, really? So it's breaking up. Is now better?
Now it's better. Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much. If I may, I have one comment and one question, if possible. It's one thing that really Maharaj took from this verse is the importance to come to a liberated level before trying to understand deeply Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead and some more intimate things about him, especially the intricacy of devotional service. It's really actually given me even more understanding because I know that many times devotees who are trying to practice even after a long time, not maybe not uh, be trying to perfect their practice. They try to add something, and they are trying to jump to some raganuga or some intimate pastimes of Krishna, reading some really sensitive things which we cannot understand if we are not on the transcendental level of liberated, which is Nishta level. So one thing is I really kind of understand now why is it so dangerous to try to get into intimate pastimes of Krishna before, you know, uh, getting the ABCD done first.
Can you understand trigonometry before you understand basic basic math? You know, it's logical. Even in the material world, there's gradations of understanding based on qualifications. And so, what to speak of Krishna, who is beyond the material energy? His knowledge is revealed to the devotee who is qualified to understand. It's revealed knowledge. You can't understand it simply by philosophical explanation. That was the conclusion of the previous verse. You want to go to that, Anasuya? Go back to the previous verse, 36. I think
Yes, Marge, I'll do that right now and start sharing the screen.
the very last paragraph in the purport, verse 36, which is a long purport. There he goes. This here. So here it is. Nayam Atma Pravachanena Labho Namedia Nabahuda Strutena Yami Vaisis Renute Tena Labhyas Tasyaisam Atman Virenute Tanushwam. The whole matter is explained by the Lord himself, and one who has no approach to the Lord in this personal feature can really understand the purport of Srimad Bhagavatam without being taught by the Bhagavats in the disciplic succession. So this mantra from the Shrutis, yesterday we looked it up. We found the translation of this verse. So if you can find the translation of this verse, I don't know where you can find it, but yesterday the devotees found it. And
If
this was,
someone can share that link with me in the chat, I'll be happy to share it right here. If not, I can also search Katha Upanishad. Okay. Let me see if I can find it, Maharaj.
it might be pretty easy to find.
I like to put ISKCON there because sometimes we get weird stuff.
Yeah,
There's one by Vani Quotes. Is that it, Maharaj?
let's see. I don't see the verse there.
Yeah, I don't either. Let me see. I'm very hesitant to go to the other websites because I don't know what they put in there, Maharaj.
The Romapad Swami memo, maybe that one. I don't know.
Let me try that. Yeah. One, two.
This might be bona fide. Yeah, this is the one we
Oh
found.
yeah, I
Yes.
think this is one of. Okay, well, he's quoting from Mukunda Upanishad 323. Okay, I'm
No,
seeing someone posting something here.
you just
Okay,
passed it up.
Maharaj, I think we found it. Shiva Kumar just shared
No,
it with me.
you just had it. Okay.
I had it. Okay, Maharaj, let's go here.
But here you got it again. You got it there and you got it there. Translation, just read it.
The Supreme Lord is not attained by expert explanations, by vast intelligence, nor even by much hearing. He is attained only by one who he himself chooses. To such a person, he manifests his own form.
Yeah. So expert explanations, vast intelligence, much hearing, scrutinizingly studying scriptures. None of it works. Only when the Lord decides to give this knowledge to someone, then that person can understand.
Maharaj, I know devotees who are disclosing Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan, which are not from Krishna book, to neophyte devotees. I don't know, is this auspicious as absorption in
No,
Krishna, or is
no,
that
no, because this is all speculation. Stay chaste to the Parampara system and Srila Prabhupada's understanding. And don't go outside that because you'll get different interpretations, different explanations. Why do people want to go outside when everything is within side? Everything is here. I mean, Prabhupada showed by example that the knowledge that he gave was in line with what Krishna has said. He showed by example. He spread Krishna consciousness all around the world. Who else is doing that? Are these other people doing that? No.
for us Krishna book is like perfect. So I was not sure when I saw these ISKCON devotees doing this for ISKCON neophyte devotees.
You
But
should immediately tell them that they're going into wrong areas. There's no need to do that. Stick with what Srila Prabhupada gave us and the acharyas that are in line with Srila Prabhupada.
Thank you. Thank you. It's really
Thank you,
important
Prabhu.
to know this.
It's just wanderlust. That's all it's called. Wanderlust. It's a restless mind. That's all. The restless mind is not satisfied with whatever is coming its way because it's restless.
And they go outside of ISKCON, and it's really true, much. I've heard that before too. Devotees within ISKCON, I don't know why they go out when we have so much already within our own movement that we
Because
haven't even
they
finished
don't
reading.
they don't know Srila Prabhupada, nor do they take time to listen to Srila Prabhupada or read his books.
So true, Maharaj. So true. Thank you, Rishabha Prabhu. Thank you. Shiva Kumar Prabhu, you're next, but I think we'll wait for Maharaj to get back to his seat so you can ask your question, Prabhu. But you're up next.
Okay.
Go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. I send out prayers. Please accept my humble obeisances at your lotus feet. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. So, Maharaj, one question I had, Maharaj. We hear that the devotees, the early stage of devotion service, like myself, Maharaj, basically in Vaidhi Bhakti, the devotee has to approach Krishna more in terms of awe and reverence, and trying to understand the opulence and the Aishwarya Bhava of Krishna, and the kind of the approach to Krishna with love is something that is meant for someone who is study or in the advanced stage of devotion, Maharaj. So with that, the devotion service that we do to Krishna, is that done in the mood of more in terms of duty and respect, Maharaj, or is there still a scope of expressing love in the early stages of devotion, Maharaj?
There may be elements of love, but the knowledge is not complete. Therefore, because the knowledge is not complete, the love will not remain steady. Therefore, one has to approach it according to the different stages of development. And the stage of Nishta is the stage of becoming fixed in devotional service. But even in that stage, one is not fully purified. So learn the different stages, learn the characteristics of the different stages, and understand where you are. If you're still looking towards a material energy for some kind of satisfaction, then you're still under anartha nivritti yet. You still have material attachments. So if you have material attachments, you can't worship Krishna in spontaneous devotional service. Because spontaneous devotional service is the natural attraction of the living entity towards Krishna. And there's a set of principles that people who are on that level, they follow. But we can also practice the same thing they're practicing, but you can't get the same results. That's all. So, but we still stay within the realm of the mood of approaching Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Prabhupada said, don't try to jump on the back of the deity and think you're a cowherd boy and play with the deity like that. So, you can't surreptitiously or pretentiously just jump to a higher level and then act on that level. Just like you're going through, you can't understand what is being taught in PhD level if you're on the level of, just high school. So we worship the Lord in awe and reverence, but when we get to a certain stage, that automatically starts when we start becoming naturally attracted towards Krishna. Attraction is natural because then you're revealing the nature of the soul's attraction for Krishna. So, but don't get stuck and think that rules and regulations and Aishwarya Bhav is the goal. It's not. It's a transition stage only. But you can't transition unless you're qualified to transition. So follow the principles. Yeah. Just like you look at the deity on the altar, what is it? It's Radha and Krishna there. But are we worshiping Radha and Krishna? No. We're worshiping Lakshmi Narayan. Because you don't worship Radha and Krishna in awe and reverence. You worship Radha and Krishna in spontaneous love. But when the devotee reaches the stage of spontaneous love, he will see the deity as that same Krishna of Vrindavan.
Hmm.
It's a matter of consciousness.
Hope that helped, Prabhu.
Yes, yes. Just one follow-up, Mataji, if I may.
Yeah, go
So,
ahead. I'm still here. I'm gonna go away for a second. Go ahead, keep talking.
okay. So, Maharaj, just one follow-up question, Maharaj. When I am in the stage of Anartha Nivriti, like we discussed, the mood of worship and approach is more of respect. And in addition to respect and the servitorship, Maharaj, if I think that because of the anarthas, if there are distractions, that I would fall away from the path and I should not be doing that. And there is this element of fear. And is that healthy, Maharaj, if I also use the fear as an element in the whole approach of devotional service in the early stage, in addition to the respect and awe and reverence, Maharaj?
So the question is, on the stage of Anartha Nivriti, what are you experiencing?
Like I do the service, I do the devotion in terms of respect and awe and reverence, Maharaj. In addition to that, if I use the element of fear, that because of my anarthas, I should not be distracted, and at least out of fear, I should continue to stay on the course. Is that healthy, Maharaj?
Then fear is not a motivation for anything. It's knowledge. We are motivated by knowledge, not by fear. What is the question of fear? Where does fear enter into it? Fear is the lowest stage of bhakti, where people are to think if they don't do something right, they're going to get punished. But in
Yes.
Krishna consciousness, there's no punishment. All there is a lack of understanding if you're not qualified. So why even enter into the mode of fear? It's duty, not fear.
Hmm.
Does that help?
Yes, yes, Maharaj. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Abhishek Prabhu, do you have your question? You have before. Did you want to ask a question now? Do you remember it?
Thank you, Mata. Thank you, Mata.
Yes.
Maharaj, another question is, in our college, one subject which is called Bharatiya Knowledge System or Indian Knowledge System called. So there, one thing I read, so I had question that something about Dvait, Advaita, Vishisht Advait, and why means the Achita Bheda, why it is the superior than Dvait, Advait, and Vishisht Advait.
That's explained by each one of the different philosophical teachings. That the absolute truth is simultaneously one and different. It's not just dualistic, it's not monistic, it's not a combination of monistic and dualistic. It's a combination of being one and different simultaneously. That is Lord Chaitanya's teaching. So these different philosophical teachings are coming from the different previous acharyas, such as Vasishtha Dvaita is from Ramanujacharya. Madhavacharya is, what is it? Dvaita, Advaita. Sankaracharya is just Advaita. But That means they're getting some aspect of the absolute truth, but not the complete. But the complete understanding is the absolute truth is one with and different from everything else. And it's very easily explained, but it's not easily understood. The explanation is the soul is the same as Krishna. Krishna is pure spirit and we are pure spirit, but he is quantitatively greater than us. And we are of the same quality. So the oneness is quality, but the difference is quantity. But therefore, we're one with and different from Krishna simultaneously. But when it comes to higher knowledge about the nature of the absolute truth of Krishna, the personality of Krishna, then it becomes a chintya. Achintya means it's inconceivable, or it's beyond the range of philosophical speculation. It's revealed through the process of pure devotional service. So you mentioned simply the other conclusions of the different other acharyas who teach bhakti up to on a certain level of bhakti. But Lord Chaitanya is the complete knowledge. Achintya, Beta, Abeta, different and simultaneously one and different at the same time.
Maharaj, as we read, I studied Vishishta Advaita that we are one, but with qualities and parts. So that seems same that we are same with qualities, but not in quantity. In Vishishta Advaita, I read just their example comes that God is
I'm
tree
not
trunk
sure,
and
yeah,
we.
I'm not exactly clear about the principle of Vashishta Dvaita. It's a little different definition of the nature of the jiva. This is from Ramanujacharya. They teach Vashishta Dvaita, but it's almost the same, but there's a certain characteristic about the nature of the jiva that is different than our explanation of the jiva. And I'd have to explore a little bit deeper before I can give you a clear understanding of what is that difference. It's all about the jiva, not about the Supreme Lord. Yeah, but read up on it. You can see the comparisons when you read of these different acharyas. You should know all of these Dvaita, Advaita, Advaita, Dvaita, Advaita, Vishishta Dvaita, and Achintya Beta, Beta Tattva. It's good to know this. This is really important to see the differences in the different philosophical teachings of the acharyas who are also bona fide and what level they're teaching up to.
So now it's kind of suggest from where we should read. That means there are so many websites that teaches different things. So from where, some kinds, some books of Srila Prabhupada.
There's books within ISKCON that deal with these four topics. There is a book that explains all four of these. I have a copy of that in my library, but my library is not with me right now. So,
Marge, do you know what the title of the book is called, Marge?
yeah,
By any chance?
the four philosophical teachings. The word "four" is in the title.
Okay.
And you can speak. I mean, if you want to really get some knowledge, go to you can go to Ravi Gupta, who is Radhika Raman. If you know him, he's in America.
He's
Look up his,
amazing.
yeah, just ask him. He'll give you a complete explanation of that. Does these different. He's written about it in some of his articles. He's known as Ravi Gupta, but his spiritual name is Radhika Raman.
Yeah. I think he's a disciple of Hanumat Prashaka Swami. Very nice.
Correct. Yeah.
Very amazing. Very intelligent devotee. Amazing.
I was just with him in August. It was interesting. No,
Nice.
in July. In July, I was with him. Yeah.
Really. Thank you, Marge. Krishna Kaviraj Prabhu, you're next, and then we'll go down the other two, and then Sonal has a question.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Raj, thank you for these classes. They're really helping, these recent classes. I wanted to ask a question about, you talked about many of the things that we should do today, but that also automatically made me think about the things we shouldn't do. And especially when someone was speaking about fear, because sometimes I feel when you're offered something and I think, no, I can't do that, that's poison. I have this fear. It's not a fear of what will happen to me from Krishna. It's a fear of, if I do that, that's like consuming poison. That will lead to a fall down, and I have that fear of the fall down. Is fear acceptable in that terms of like fear of
Yeah.
avoiding the things we should not do?
Yeah, Prabhupada said a devotee by nature is fearless. One of the characteristics of a devotee is he's fearless. But then there's a point that's made that one should have a healthy fear of Maya. That means one should act in such a way as not to get trapped by Maya. So that mood of becoming careful or cautious has an element of fear because I don't want to fall down. So let me be very conscious of Krishna and cautious and in the execution of my activities. Yeah.
Thank
So
you.
conscious and cautious. Yeah. So that fear is mentioned as a healthy fear.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely. I feel happy now.
Thank
Yeah.
you, Krishna Kaviraj Prabhu.
We should also have a fear of wasting time. That's another fear we should have.
Yeah.
Don't waste time.
So true, Maharaj. So true. Rishabha Prabhu, then we'll go to Balavanita and then Sonal's question.
Krishna, I think that Maharaj already partially answered my question, but I would like to ask anyway, maybe he has something to add. My question was exactly the point that we have to be fixed in devotional service to come to the liberated level so that we can actually come to the stage of actually serving Krishna. And even though the bodily, or we can establish ourselves in an ashram where we are fully engaged in Krishna service, it still looks like we are not getting there. It still looks like something is sabotaging us.
Well, to be fully
So
engaged, to be fully engaged in devotional service, one has to be free from many of the anarthas. Otherwise, you can't just jump up to that level. So, although you may be engaged in devotional service, because the anarthas are there, they'll cause you to deviate, and you can't remain fixed in devotional service. So, unless you get 75% of your anarthas removed, there's no question of being fixed in devotional service. You can talk about it, but you can't do it. These anarthas will deviate you in your execution of devotional service. The Bhaktivinoda Thakur makes that explanation.
think that now finally I understand what this purification, which we always mention, means. Is that every day we try to see what is stopping us from fully engaging in Krishna service and try to get rid of it. And every day try to move forward and get rid of these anarthas, which you said, blockages and wasting time and whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's much more clear now.
There are many things that can support your desire to be fully engaged in devotional service, such as strong sadhana, such as a schedule that you follow, such as avoiding certain association.
Yeah, I was just in the clinic because I had physical problems for a few days, and now when I understood it's not good for me there, and I moved to a brahmachari ashram immediately, understanding I'm not going to survive if I'm going to be alone. So now I'm back. So I think this is one of these things.
Well,
like, okay,
you were thinking it was going to be easier and nicer there, so you left the brahmachari ashram, and then Krishna just gave you a wake up call.
It was terrible. Thank you very much.
You got your mind tricked you.
Completely.
As you said, Marge, I'm having a healthy fear for Maya. Yes, thank you, Shava Prabhu. Balavanitai, go ahead.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, Jai Shri Nityananda, and all glories to the assembled devotees. May I make a Krishna conscious book recommendation for the Prabhuji who was looking to get into the metaphysics of this stuff?
What was the question that he brought up?
Really getting into the finer details of Advaita, and I can't pronounce them, Advaita and Achintya Beda, and if he's looking for a really fine-grained and fascinating study, His Holiness Bhanu Swami's commentary on the Brahma Sutra.
Okay, there you go. Brahma, yeah. Yeah, okay. The Bhanu Swami is probably one of the greatest Vaishnava scholars in our movement.
This text is
really good recommendation. Yeah. That's a good recommendation, yeah.
Thank you.
Where did you get that book from, Balavanita Prabhu?
I studied philosophy. I have 3 degrees in philosophy, and I'm a nut for reading. I always have been. And so in my early foray into Krishna consciousness, and being enamored with Prabhupada and the process, I of course always thirst for more literature in terms of deepening my understanding or what have you. Less so now, I must admit, because I feel the endlessness of the ISKCON literature. Prabhupada is largely satisfied, but I was there's a group of Krishnas near that is not in my home Sangha in Ypsilanti, Michigan, and I was involved in some very deep philosophical discourse there earlier in my Krishna consciousness, and it just sort of came out in like, how do we get deeper into this stuff? And I can't remember actually the devotee who recommended it to me, but it's just on Amazon, or get your favorite bookseller. His Holiness Bhanu Swami, Bhanu Swami. and his
I
commentary
just
on the
found it. Yep, I just found on Amazon. Esmeralda said Banu Swami is the, when it comes to stuff like that, he's really like bona fide, pukka. It's gone.
and as a trained these words sound strange out of my mouth now, but as a trained academic thinker or what have you, it is satisfyingly philosophically rich if you really want to get into the fine-grained textures of the thinking through the problem, and as a commentary on the philosophical Vedantic text, right, the Brahma Sutra, and tangling with the Vyasa of Shankaracharya, which, as a manifestation of Shiva and Banu Swami's deconstruction of Shankaracharya Shiva commentary on the Brahma Sutra, it really brings out the difficulties and the beauty of the text, and how it relates to our Krishna consciousness.
Yeah, good.
Thank you. Thank you, Balavanita Prabhu.
Right.
Sridevi, you're next.
Thank you. Yeah. Mhm.
Thank you, Ansuya. Dear Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. I am so sorry I'm not able to figure out how to do this video, but I hope I'm audible.
Yeah.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
Okay. My question is about this particular sentence in the purport. Thus, in the completely satisfied stage of life, exhibited by full detachment from the world of sense enjoyment, as a result of performing devotional service, one can understand the science of God in the liberated stage. So, we are not there yet because we are still mixed devotees and we are still trying to understand the science of God in our own, imperfect condition. So, does it mean that only in the liberated stage that one can get the full understanding? Is that what is meant over here? Or one must
Yeah.
reach the liberated stage and then only?
Yeah. You can approach the liberated stage through the philosophical knowledge that is given to you. But the knowledge will only be theoretical. So theoretical knowledge will give you an understanding of what the understanding is, but you can't realize it until you get to the liberated stage. Yeah.
So, getting to the liberated stage means having realization and then practicing devotional service.
Above the three modes of material nature fixed in devotional service. Yeah. Savai Pum Samparo Dhammo, Yito Bhakti Ahoksaje, Ahoy Tukiya Priyata, Yayatma Suprasidati. Ahoy Tukiya Priyata, without interruption, without personal motivation. You're motivated simply to please Krishna. And you're not interrupted by anything material.
So, only in that stage one can fully understand the science of God.
Yeah. You think it's that easy to understand the science of God? Yeah, you have to qualify. You have a PhD. Did you get a PhD when you first entered into your university?
No. No, Guru Maharaj. It took many years.
Yeah. So yeah, it's not only study, it's study with understanding of how to apply the knowledge in a practical way in the day-to-day life under the guidance of the bona fide spiritual master. who gives direction. Knowledge is simply a light in the right direction, and the explanations of that knowledge by the spiritual master will help one to apply that knowledge in practice.
Yes, Guru Maharaj. So for further, my reflection is that unless we are regularly hearing classes like this, it will be very difficult, one, to stay on the path, two, to stay encouraged because we are so full of anarthas and it's very hard to understand anything, and three, the association of devotees, devotional service, and following the orders of the spiritual master. Without this, I think it would be very difficult, isn't it?
Well, the material energy is very powerful and it's everywhere. So a little slight deviation away from devotional service, and therefore you're being affected by the external energy, either subtly or grossly. And this is called Krishna conscious, not partial Krishna conscious, 90% Krishna conscious, 30%. It's not Krishna conscious means full consciousness of Krishna. Yeah, which means which in our case, in the practical explanation, means to be fully engaged in devotional service.
Mm. Yes, Guru Maharaj. This is the important point, to be fully absorbed, to be fully engaged, not waste even a single moment of Krishna's time.
Even if you're fully engaged, that doesn't mean you're on the liberated platform. You're working towards that stage.
Mm.
It'll come, but that's the prerequisite for getting there, is being fully engaged.
Yes, Guru Maharaj. Thank you. Thank you for clarifying so nicely all these points. My humble
Yeah.
obeisance, please.
When do you arrive in Ujjain? What day?
13th morning,
Oh, okay.
9 o'clock.
Okay. Good.
Thank you, Sri Devi. Manohar Prabhu, before I come to you, I'm just going to read this follow-up question in the chat, but I promise I'll come to you. Maharaj, that's a follow-up question from Sonal. As we should use duty as a motivating factor in another Nivritti stage during Vaidhi Bhakti, is it Vanashram Dharma as duty?
What dharma?
Varn Ashram Dharma. Varn Ashram Dharma.
No, that's material. You're talking about spiritual duties. That's material, Varnashram.
Hope that clears your
But
question, Sonal.
the Varnashram dharma is just to fix you in devotional service. That's all. Mhm. But if you're talking about Vanashram, that's one thing. But if you're talking about Daivi Vanashram, which has not really been implemented in our society yet as a what we say a regular principle, but material Vanashram just guides you towards following certain rules and regulations that keep you connected to the path of devotion. That's all. But ashram is material. The four varnas, Brahma, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Sudra, that's material. Ashram means place of spiritual cultivation. So that's material, but the activities in devotional service, they're spiritual. So when you use your particular varna, whatever it may be, in the service of the Lord, that is Daivi Vanashram. Or spiritual.
Oh,
Daivi means spiritual. That's it.
thank you, Sonal. Thank you, Maharaj. Manohar Prabhu, you're up.
Thank you, Mataji. I think I'm audible.
Absolutely, you are.
Thank you. Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj. Please accept my humble obeisances. All praise to you. All praise to Srila Prabhupada. So, Maharaj, I had a question in my mind. I had to hop out for in between. I don't know whether this has already been discussed or not, but still, let me ask this, Maharaj. So based on the conversation today, I understand that for a devotee to be able to understand the science of God or the God Himself, it will not happen by itself. I mean, the God would reveal it within the heart of the devotee. But how a devotee would get to understand that whatever his or her understanding is not his mental speculation, but this is something which has been revealed by God Himself in his heart.
It has to align itself with the teachings of spiritual master and what's in the Shastra. And the third point of confirmation is what is established as a spiritual principle that were followed by the previous acharyas. So you have a checkpoint. It's called Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. And so what is being revealed to you, you should see, is it simply a combination of something material and spiritual, or is it actually Krishna giving you the understanding of the knowledge? We have the checkpoints. That's why if we don't read the books, then where are we gonna find a checkpoint? Then you can go right to the guru and ask and get the checkpoint there. But there's not always, we can always ask the guru every minute. We also have to know what is bhakti and what is not bhakti.
Right.
That's why Prabhupada said you have to know knowledge and nescience. Nescience means material knowledge. Spiritual knowledge and material knowledge side by side. What is bhakti, what is not bhakti. There's many things that look like bhakti, but they're not bhakti. And if you're getting knowledge within the heart, then you have to, what we say, verify that through Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra.
Right.
Otherwise, you might be.
Yeah, so it is equally important to know what is not bhakti, along with knowing what is bhakti. Yes.
Yeah.
And that gives me some sense.
And
Yeah.
then you can check that with Shastra, with Guru.
Right. Right. Yeah, I think because we will not have any the way we are in the material world, the degree that defines that okay, now you have got this knowledge. So there, it is the checkpoints and the checks with the guru. Got it, Maharaj.
This is not a sentimental movement. It's established its foundation is established in solid transcendental knowledge, philosophy.
Right.
Just because you believe something is right doesn't make it right.
Right, Guru Maharaj. Got it, Guru Maharaj. Thank you for this wonderful explanation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Very, very nice questions. Thank you, Mahaprabhu, and thank you to all the devotees. Are there any other last minute questions, last minute, clarification, sharing, anything? Please do jump right in now or post, if there's anything. But we've had really like a very active, amazing questions. And if there is, yes, Prem Bhakti Prabhu, right on time. Go ahead.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Dandana Pranams, Welcome to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to you, Maharaj, all glories to devotees. So Maharaj, on this question about PhDs, I remember you saying in one lecture about how Prabhupada was amongst some philosophers, scholars, and they were like talking about Krishna, and Prabhupada asked them, could you tell me who's Krishna? And they were like saying, yeah, they were faffing around basically. They're saying they knew all about this, the Vedas. They've preached to people who actually going to them and getting PhDs. So Prabhupada asked them, who's Krishna? Can you tell me? And they were trying to give answers, questions, and they were just waffling on. And then, Prabhupada turned to Bhakti Saraswati, 4-year-old, and said to her, "You tell who's God." And she said, "He's the personality of Godhead, Krishna." And so, and Prabhupada said, "You're big PhD philosophers. You don't know. This is a 4-year-old who knows Krishna." So it just goes to show.
But she was sure when she said it. She said
Yeah.
he's the supreme personality of Godhead.
Yeah.
Not just personality of God, supreme person.
Sorry.
In other words, he's the source of all of the manifestations of the Godhead.
Mm.
There are many gods, but there is one original God, and that is Krishna. And he's a person, not just an energy.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah, there's what do we call it? Too much intelligence is no good either because it leads you in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
No, because it's over intelligent.
Yeah, they were just waffling on. They couldn't ascertain who's Krishna. They had all this education and everything, and
Yeah, then they make up all these nice words.
yeah.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Yeah.
Also mimic that when he did a whole series of mumble jumble. And he says, if you can speak like that, people think, oh, boy, he's a philosopher. Nobody understands it because they think if you can't understand it, it must be right.
Marge, I learned that song when I was in first grade. I'm so proud. Took me back. Oh,
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
yes, Maharaj. We had to learn it in music class in first grade.
It's mumbo jumbo, that's all it is.
Yes. It really is.
Yeah, but a lot of the, is the atom a wave or is the atom a particle? So they came up with a word called wavicle. They take the word particle and wave and they put it they said it's the atom is not a particle, it's not a wave, but it's a wavicle.
Goes back to Prabhupada's purport, Marge. They use grammarians and material wranglers. That's exactly what they're doing.
But they're all bluffing, that's all.
Yeah. Oh, Krishna, crazy world. Crazy world we live in, Maharaj.
So Maharaj, I was saying.
Just hear from Prabhupada's books, that's all, and then you'll be
Yes.
okay. Stay chased to
Absolutely.
one source of knowledge and you'll get everything you need. Prabhupada has given everything. This has been proven, and that's just some statement. It's been proven. Those who follow Prabhupada have the complete knowledge of everything. Yeah,
Absolutely.
I just came across something interesting today. The whole series of Vaishnav scholars in our society are now entering into the areas of the secular world and getting into discussions with people who are philosophers, scientists, and others. And so we have a whole cadre of devotees who really know the philosophy well and can present it in different arenas. The devotees are really, really expert.
And Marge, I think one of them is Brahmatirtha Prabhu. He's really good.
Brahmatirtha is one person, yeah. Bob Cohen.
Yes, yes.
There's so many. Bhakti Vigyan Maharaj is a genius.
Yes. Genius. They're really penetrating it.
Yeah, and there's so many. There's a few ladies also that was in the list here. I can't remember their names.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I sometimes get their newsletter and it's really amazing, Marge. Really amazing.
Yeah, those of you who are a little bit inclined to scholarly discussions, you can plug into this. I'll send you this thing that was sent to me. I'll send it to Anasuya, and she can
Sure.
make it.
Hmm.
And there's a whole series of discussions coming up within the next couple of weeks.
Yes, Marge. Well, if once you share it with me, I'll share it with the other devotees too. But yes,
It's
a lot
good.
of
It's good. It sharpens your intelligence by getting into these, trying to figure out these things or hear from these things that you really can't understand unless you really apply yourself to it.
yeah, ISKCON is really trying to you use all of Prabhupada's words and research and penetrating into the material world with so much confidence and, as you said, much eloquent, professional, amazing, powerful devotees.
You have to be because the materialists are really expert at arguments.
Hmm.
They have mastered the art of argument. And so you have to know how to deal with that and not get caught or lost in the principle of argument and lose the principle of knowledge.
One of them is Mother Urmila. She's great.
Yeah,
She's powerful.
she's on that list. Yeah.
Yes, she is. Wow. Yeah, she will smash. She's good. She's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. She has good knowledge.
Yes. Thank you, Marge. If there are no questions, Marge, I know you said your voice is getting a little raspy. I wanted to ask if you would like to end with a round of chanting, or what do you want to call it quits? How are you feeling, Marge? How your body is feeling? That's what I was wondering about.
I'm glad you used that very formalized word, call it quits.
Because I was sensing that your bodies might be needing more rest.
Well, it's my voice is a little raspy.
Mm.
It's something that's been there ever since I left America.
I was going to say the same thing, but I think you've had it since you've been here.
Yeah, when I was with you, I had it, right?
Yes, I remember that. And it's
Yeah.
been 3 months almost, March.
On July, August,
2 months.
and yeah, it's been started in the beginning of July, and it's been going on since then.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, yeah. I can rationalize it, but I don't want to. But let me do one thing, and I'll be right back, and then we can join into the chanting for a while.
No problem, Maraj. Oh, Sridevi, you said you can't turn your video on, right? So we can't get that.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I'm in a new
It's
place,
okay.
and this is yeah.
Completely. I understand. New technology makes us crack our brains and give us more work, unfortunately.
Okay, just to recap, very simple. For chanting, we should always, I mean, you can stand if you find it easier to stand, but if you're sitting, if your back straight. So we can begin by approaching the holy name, by approaching first Lord Chaitanya. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare